Hello everyone, and thank you for coming back to another video. Today we had the Yeet Street Discs Burlington Friday Flex number 5 at Chimney Hills Disc Golf Course at the Valley Golf Course in Burlington, North Carolina. Today we're starting off on hole number 1, which is a par 5, 551 foot hole. This course, if you've never played it before, it's a beast of a course. It's a very nice course, very good. It's probably one of the newest, if not the newest, courses in Burlington. And it's heavily wooded. And it is a challenge, and it is a fun course to play. I would highly recommend coming out to play it. The blues are much longer than the reds, but they're also a fun layout. Today we're playing the red layout. Starting off, I am going to be throwing my Leopard 3, Owen Scoggins Leopard 3. Today I'm using the end of a bag. I usually throw Prodigy bag, but I wanted to give the end of a bag a try to see just how it threw. And so the Leopard 3, as you saw, it hit a late tree, kind of kicked down a little short here. I'm throwing my T-Bird. I'm trying to put it on a little Anheuser to get it down that gap on the left and pull it around. And I had a good angle out of the hand, but that disc is a little too stable and stables out into the trees on the left. I probably should have rethrown the Leopard 3. I had a rough lie here. I had to throw my Firebird, and I tried to get through this little gap. Hit a tree, came up short, but left me a good line. Taking my Destroyer, put it on a big anti-line. It was flexing out and hit a late tree again. Trees are going to be the name of today. Threw my Gator there, trying to get it close. Gave myself a good bid to save the par here, and just did not do that. I'm sorry, not the par. That was for bogey. Just made a double bogey here. All right, hole number 2. This is kind of a signature hole out here. There's a couple of signature holes. Hole number 2 is a 178-foot par 3. It's just a straight tunnel down that gap right off the tee box there. And I'm throwing a thumber here. I found the thumber works pretty good for me on this hole. Just take that Firebird and throw it as straight as I can, and it just pans out. And you'll see it skip close to the basket up there. Right there it skips, and that was pretty close. Left me an easy little birdie putt here. So we make up one stroke from that double bogey on the first hole. On to hole number 3, it's a 420-foot par 4. It goes downhill and then careens off to the left. I'm throwing the Leopard 3 again. Put a good pull on this one. I got around the tree down the middle that I was trying to get around and left myself a pretty good little approach shot here. Throwing the PA3. I did bring the PA3 and the PA5 for my throwing putters today, just because they're my favorite throwing putters that I have. And this putt is for birdie. The little bush was kind of right in my way. Almost messed that birdie putt up. Hole number 4, we're looking at 253-foot par 3. Uphill the whole way. Not the whole way. It's pretty flat for about 125 feet or so, 150 feet, and then it goes straight uphill. Throwing the Leopard 3 again. I threw the Leopard 3 a lot today. It kind of reminds me of my F3, especially that Owen Scoggins version. Let myself a bid here. I'm having to throw an ante around this tree because it's right in the way. Wish I had a straight putt at it, but I didn't, so I had to kind of try to curve it and let myself a little par here. All right, hole number 5. This is a 430-foot par 4. I'm going to throw the Destroyer off the tee, trying to do a forehand here. And when it left my hand, it felt great out of the hand, but you're going to see what happens. I just pop it right into that tree right off the tee pad, first available. Here I've got a little teeny gap I can get through. I'm taking the Firebird and throwing it on another thumber line. To get through this little gap and just get back out into the middle. And I get back out, where I need to be. Here I'm taking my Rock 3, and I'm going to try to throw it straight down the hill to the basket. And out of the hand it felt good. It just came out a little early and trailed left before I wanted it to. The basket is going to be straight off of my hat bill there, straight back through those trees, that little clump of trees, just straight away. I'm going to try to throw this PA3 and fight it through those trees. I'm trying to make a run at the basket here to save the par. And I got it right exactly where I wanted it, and it just sailed right over top of the basket and left me with a long putt back for, I believe this was a bogey. Yeah, this was my bogey putt. And so then I have a tap in for double again. So that's 2 doubles so far. 2 doubles, 2 birdies. All right, we're on to hole number 6 now. The 6 is a 226-foot par 3. This one is uphill pretty much the whole way. Throwing my PA5. I was hoping I'd get a little flip up here, and it just held straight and never moved right for me, which is unusual for it, but there was a little bit of a tailwind, I believe, on this one. So this putt here, that tree just to my right, and then the one right behind it there, I'm having to putt between those on a weird angle. So this was a scary putt because this basket sits right on that cliff that's going down to the right in the distance there. The basket's literally on that cliff's edge. So I gave it just a little pitch up just to get close to have a tap in for par. Hole number 7 is a 265-foot par 3. Pretty straight shot. Everything right is OB. It goes right down into a big creek. So you definitely want to keep it left off the tee. You don't want anything that's going to drift right. So I'm throwing my T-bird here. This is the Vinomakala T-bird. Good pull on it. Great throw. Catches the very last tree and just kind of sits me down. Have a probably, I don't know, like a 60-footer maybe, I think it was. Probably about 60, 70 feet. Give it a good run. Almost make it. Just to the left of the chains. But easy tap in par. Alright, hole number 8. 360-foot par 4. This is a signature hole out here. And you'll see coming up on the later throws why they call it Chimney Hills. Here we're going to be looking at throwing my rock 3. I was trying to just get it up the middle so I'd have an approach, and it for the most all intents and purposes it worked, but I did catch a late tree right there, kicked it left into the middle of the fairway, but not quite as far up as I wanted. I chose the wrong disc selection here, I believe. I'm throwing a Stingray because it's so uphill. I was wanting to throw something understable. And I had a great throw out of the hand. I think it just stood up too much and just went a little high, caught some high branches, fell down, and actually rolled back probably 30 feet. So I lost 30 feet on that one. So you can see here the signature hole. You see the old chimney here from the house or mill that used to be here. It's an old brick chimney that's still up. That's all that's left. I'm throwing my Toro. And I believe after this round today, I've decided I'm going to go back to the A2 for sure. The Toro, I've tried multiple Toros. I've tried the Champ Toro. I've tried the Color Glow. This one is a Halo. And for me, it's way too unpredictable. It doesn't have a predictable stability to it. And it's the A2, I know what it's going to do every single time. So I'm going to try this little flick forehand, and it's just going to kind of burn over on me a little bit, which I just have not been able to find a Toro that will not come out of it like the A2 does. Yeti Pro AVR here, just tossing it up under the basket, and I'm going to take my bogey and go. Alright, hole number 9. This is a 346-foot par 3. This goes down the hill and straight right. It's much more right than it is straight. And I'm taking my gator. I'm going to throw on a forehand here. Gator is one of the few mid-ranges that I feel like I can really torque on, and it's going to go right for me. It's not going to burn over. And you want a disc that's going to go as right as possible, but not push too far forward before it goes right. Like a Firebird would be too much speed, and it's going to go way too deep before it turns right. So I think the Gator was the right choice. See there, it's moving right for me. Got up to the bottom of the hill, and the basket is straight up the hill here. Should have been an easy shot, and it was an easy shot, but when I let this out of the hand, it felt like I didn't quite pop it like I needed to, and it just kind of floated up to the basket. This is probably right at circle's edge. Just inside circle's edge probably, and you can see I caged it. That was a par I gave away, but we get the bogey. All right, hole number 10. This is a 188-foot par 3, but you had this super narrow gap right off the tee pad. I'm taking my PA5 and I'm just trying to toss it through the gap just to get it about just over halfway to the basket. I'm not trying to make it to the basket, I'm just trying to get through this gap. As you can see, I just punch it through the gap, nice and easy, and I'm gonna have a run here. It's not really a run, it's just a toss up because this basket is dangerous, and you'll see on the putt up here how dangerous this basket is. So the basket is up on top of these rocks, right behind Chip there in the blue shirt. You can see the basket's towering above him, and he's at basket level. You can see how high I have to putt this to get it into the basket, and this is what you're running your drive at. Or if you go past this basket, it is gone. You're in some deep trouble if you go past the basket on this one. Okay, hole number 11, hole 12, 501-foot par 4. This one I'm throwing the Firebird off the tee on a forehand, and it felt good. I just threw it low, but it felt great out of the hand. I just threw it straight down. Just threw it down. So I'm taking my Gator again, and I'm going to throw this where I wanted the Firebird to be in the first place. So I just put it to the bottom of the hill. Alright, I'm taking my Rock 3 here. I debated between Rock 3 or T-Bird. I went with the Rock 3 just so I make sure I didn't kind of pull it right. If I did pull it, I didn't want to pull it into the trees. So I threw something that if I pulled it, it would hopefully at least just ride the tree line instead of going into it. Had a great shot. And left myself with a long bid here for par. I tried to run it, but it kind of didn't run it as hard as I wanted to, but I put it close enough to save the bogey here. Alrighty, hole 12. This one has a story behind it. This is the hole where I gave up the tournament. At least I gave it up as far as playing against Chip. He and I were in the same division. There's a guy that's playing right now. He signed up late in the afternoon. He's only on hole 5, but Chip and I were battling it out, and this is where I pretty much gave it away on this hole, and you'll see why on the second shot. I'm throwing my PA5. I tried to flip it up down the middle, just let it go early. I'm short left here, and on this putt, this was a horrible decision. If you're in this position, do not try to run it. I didn't have a reason to run it. There's no reason for me to run this. Chip and I think we were tied at this point, and I tried to run it to get a shot up on him, or to at least try to get a shot up on him. And you'll see what happens here. I just blow it straight by the basket. It hits the hill, rolls down into the ditch, and you're going to see here I toss it up, hit the cage, and I roll it all the way back exactly where I just putted it from. So now I'm having to do that same putt again, and I cage it, and I take a double on what should have been an easy par. So don't be like me, just lay it up. Take your par and go. Hole 13, 301-foot par 3. I'm going back to the Leopard 3 again. This is a right to left hyzer shot with a lot of trees just down the middle of the fairway. You got to hit some really, really tough gaps to get it there, and I got lucky with this one, and I hit the gap just right. And I left myself with a great birdie run attempt. Circles, just outside circle's edge here. Actually, this is probably about 40, 45 feet, but gave it a good bid. Perfect distance. But I'm going to take the easy par here. All right, now hole 13. No, that was 13. Hole 14, 464 foot par 4. This one is a long hole that goes, it's pretty straight, but it's an S curve because of the trees. But you know, the basket straight off the tee pad is just, you've got to get down to the right, then back to the left again because of how the trees are placed. I'm throwing a Roadrunner here. I want you to see what this Roadrunner does. Hopefully you can see it. I'm actually fixed my camera. I think I fixed my camera. I was in wide angled mode on the camera this whole time. I didn't realize it, so I put it to standard mode, so hopefully my next round you'll be able to see the disc better and it won't be this kind of wide fisheye angle, but we'll see how that looks on the next round. But this is a Roadrunner that I'm throwing because I wanted it to go down and to the right. I even got it flat out of the hand and it just went straight left. There was zero turn on this disc. That was the most stable Roadrunner I've ever seen or ever thrown. Went hard left. So only option I had here was a Toro on a forehand roller. And I'm just trying to advance it back out into the fairway. I do a pretty good job of that. Ended up a little more left than I wanted. I wanted to be more on the right. If I could have been around that little bush to the right of me, just to the right of the scene here, that would have been better. But a little bit off, but not bad. I'm gonna take my AVR X3 here and just throw it on a big hyzer. Had a good shot with it. Left it a little short. I'm gonna have a long run. Apologize for this angle here because I didn't realize I'd left the camera this far back. I didn't think that it was that deep down there, but it definitely was. But this is me to save par here. I give it a really good bid, and it buzzes the chains, and I'm gonna have a tap in here for the bogey. All right, we're on to hole 16, 296 foot par 3. I'm throwing the Leopard 3 again. Out of the hand, this felt incredible out of the hand. I mean, it snapped. It had everything on it. It was just low. I barely crest this hill, barely. I was lucky I didn't stay OB, or I didn't go OB, but I did get just over the hill, slid down back into the mulch. I'm in bounds, luckily. I got very lucky to stay in bounds with how low I threw that. Here I'm throwing the Barsby Eagle. I think this might be my first throw with this disc, maybe second ever. And when I did throw it before, if I did, I think it was a backhand. This should be my first forehand with it, and it worked out pretty good. I'm happy with how that forehand worked. It was nice and stable. So here, had a little bid for it, tossed it up for the birdie, but then tap in for par. All right, hole number 16. This is a 296 foot par 3. Did I say that last time? The last hole was 407 foot par 4. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. 296 foot par 3 here, hole 16. I'm throwing the Leopard 3 again. Once again, out of the hand. I thought I nailed this one. I thought it was perfect. And I'm just barely going to catch this tree right there. Barely caught it. I thought I was going to sneak by it. So here I actually have a run at the basket. You can't really see it in this picture. It's that leaning tree through that gap. The basket's kind of right behind it to the left. I can see the right side of the cage from this position. I'm throwing my I think this is that's my AVR X3, and I'm going to try to sneak it through the gap, and I do a pretty good job I get through the first gap. I almost get through that second gap. Almost.
Oh, that was close.
That was a good run. Left myself probably about a 35 footer, 40 footer, something like that, but I give it a run. Had some good runs at the basket today, I just didn't cash them. Took my tap in bogey. All right, now hole 17, 257 foot par 3 uphill. I'm throwing with the leopard 3 again. This is one where out of the hand, it felt great once again. It just did not hold the turn that I needed it to hold. It's a good throw. It just comes out of it just a little early. Earlier than I wanted. There, it's starting to come out now. If it would have held that line, I'd have been at the basket, I think. But I came out left. Gonna have a long run here at the basket. This is probably 60 feet. No. This was 90 feet because I ranged it. That was 90 foot. I just had to toss it up, take my par. Alright, coming into hole 18. This is a 694 foot par 5. Very long hole, extremely wooded. There are very tight lines all down this fairway, but you've got to hit them or you're going to be in some deep trouble. I believe at this point in time, Chip and I believe Chip has me by 1 at this point. He's up by 1. That's right, going into this hole. I'm going to throw my leopard 3, and I catch that tree right square in the middle of it. I played this hole like Plinko all the way down. Here I'm throwing my, I believe this is my T-bird. Yes, a T-bird. Out of the hand, it was great. Other guys on the card were saying it was great, and it caught that late tree. It was looking so good. And now I'm throwing my Thunderbird because I need to get this down and then hard left. So I wanted to get this as far as I could before it went left on me. Pro Firebird. Out of the hand, it was great. And once again, I caught a late tree. Put it right down right next to this tree here in the middle of the fairway. I'm going to throw my Firebird on a thumber. I was trying to figure out how I could throw a forehand here. I wanted to throw the Gator on a forehand because we're not that far out. It's just it has to go straight down, and where the sunlight is at the far end of that gap, the basket's to the right of that sunlight, just to the right, tucked back. But that tree was so close to my lie that I could not get a good forehand stance, or one that I wasn't scared I was going to break my knuckles on that tree. And then I remembered I can throw a thumber. So I grabbed my Firebird, and I decided I was just going to try to get this as far down as I could and let it move to the right. And it was a good shot. I was happy with that.
Up there. Good shot.
It leaves me with, this is probably, I have a lot of like 40 to 60 footers here. I think this was probably, it was a good bit. It was probably 60 feet. But I got my Yeti Pro AVRs, which are my favorite putters. And this was to save the par. And I gave it a run. I gave it everything I had on this one. I wanted this one. But I had my tap-in bogey. And with that, Chip unfortunately took a double, and we wound up tying. Both of us 10 over. This round cooked us. You know, the chimney at Chimney Hill cooked me. That triple that I took, the double that I took on hole 12 should not have happened. And you know, that hole is going to haunt me because that was just a horrible decision on my part to run that putt. I should have laid it up, should have taken my par, and I'd have had it by 2 strokes. But that's what I get. That's what I get for trying to be a hero and run putts I shouldn't run. But like I say, as of right now, you know, we're tied for second place. The guy that's ahead of us is currently 1 over through 6, and we'll see how it finishes. But all in all, it was a good round. Like I say, definitely go out and play Chimney Hills if you've never played it. It's a good course, very wooded. Take your bug spray with you. There's a lot of bugs, but it's definitely worth playing if you're in the Burlington area. Have not played this course before. The designers at the course did a great job with it, and it's definitely going to be a gem of a course to play. And there's also the golf clubhouses there. You can go into the clubhouse and get snacks, waters, drinks, whatever you need, restrooms, all of that is there. So, you have a pro shop there that you can go into. It's a golf shop, but, they have everything that you need to prepare yourself to go out and play other than discs, but they have everything else that you would need. So, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you again on the next video.